Good morning, everybody. We're going to conclude the week of reviews with another Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young review. Um, I had this scheduled a couple years ago, but I had to cancel because because Uncle David passed away, and it was too emotional for me. But so that's why we canceled. But I decided to go ahead and do it in light of the fact that I'm going to see Graham Nash for the fifth time uh, this Tuesday night. And so, but this was CSNY's second reunion album, their first being American Dream. And but this one was released on October 26th, 1999, and it was the way it worked is that Neil had some songs held back that he had recorded for his solo album that became Silver and Gold. And those were, I believe, Slowpoke, Looking Forward, and maybe Out of Control. And he decided to give those for the Crosby, Stills, Nash Young record. And this record is very acoustic driven. As a matter of fact, there is only 2 fully electric songs on here. Stand and Be Counted, which we will talk about in a second, and No Tears Left, the Uncle Steven song. But Stand and Be Counted was written for the documentary of the same name. It's kind of, I think it's kind of a song about, oh, by the way, it's an Uncle David song, but I think Stand and Be Counted is a song about, the politicians that do stuff that, that do bad stuff and don't, get in trouble with it, and don't get in trouble for it. And they or it's a song about, the bad or the people that do stuff and they don't take responsibility for it. And it's one of my favorites from the record. And actually, if you recall, there was a documentary and a book that Uncle David wrote, kind of based on the song. And actually, I'm going to put a link up in the cards to our review of the documentary. So if you want to check it out, you can. But like I said, the Neil songs, Slowpoke, Looking Forward, were, I think, written for silver and gold, um, because he as often is the case, Neil would do new songs on the road, and he was doing new. Um, he was doing a couple of these on the Silver and Gold solo tour back in '99, and but which would end up on Looking Forward. And another one of my favorites on here is Out of Control. I love that note. I love that song. That's one of my favorites, and that's one of the songs that um, CS&Y did on their episode of VH1 Storytellers, and they also did it on tour. And but one of my absolute favorites on here is the opening song, "Faith in Me," which was written by Uncle Steven, and I love that song. It kind of has kind of a Caribbean kind of beat to it. It kind of reminds me of a song from his Man Alive record called "Feed the People," and it is just tremendous. But one of the prettiest songs on here is a song of Graham's called "Someday Soon," and it, not to be confused with the Judy Collins song of the same name. But I love that song. That's always been one of my favorites, and that's always been one that I sing along with. But another one of Uncle David's songs that got its start in the CPR days, Crosby, Raymond, Pevar, is a song called Dream for Him. And it's a song that David wrote for his second son, Django, who was little at the time. And it's basically about how is he going to explain all the bad stuff to Django that's going on in the country, and how is he going to explain all this to Django? But this record was partially recorded at Plywood Digital, which was Neil's studio on the ranch, and the band for the recordings included Joe Vitale on drums, and he also acted as executive producer, and Ben Keith on steel, of course. And so, like I said, this record is very acoustic driven, unlike American Dream, which was more electrified and more of the 80s. This one is more acoustic driven. And there's another song of Uncle Steven's on here called "Seen Enough." It's kind of Uncle Steven's song about he's seen enough of all this bad stuff that was going on around the release of around this time, and And oh, another favorite of mine, another favorite Neil song of mine on here is "Queen of Them All," which I think was written about Peggy. And but like I said, this record was released on October 26th, 1999, and as you know, um, they would tour for the first time since 1974 for this record. And I'm gonna put a there's gonna be a card, or there's gonna be a link to the concert remembrance video that we made here on the channel for the CS and Y2K concert that I attended back in 2000. So if you want to check that out, do. And so, but there's going to be links to that video, and as well as our review of the Stand and Be Counted documentary. But I love this record, and I hope you will too. Looking Forward's album cover is a picture of Stephen Stills' little son Henry playing with a reel-to-reel tape recorder. I give this 5 stars. Shot and produced by Amber. Audio and video provided by WeVideo and the YouTube Music Library. Subtitles generated using Clipchamp. Photo provided by Google Images. Screen recording taken from Wikipedia. Achieved using iPicky.com. This video is dedicated to the memory of David Crosby, 1941 to 2023.